Hello, everyone. My name is Wajiro Moreithi, and welcome to Conversations with WINENJIRU. We're still at the coast and in Mombasa County at a very great destination, which is Tamarind Mombasa. If you can see behind us, the Nyali Bridge, right there, overlooking the Chida Creek, and in this great destination, Tamarind Mombasa, we are delighted to have you, General Manager Joab Andayi. Karibu sana.
Oh, thank you so much, Wanjiru.
Yeah, are you feeling at home here?
I am at home. I hope you're also feeling at home here.
I'm feeling very much at home here in the Tamarind Village Gardens.
Yes.
And today is a really special day because we are hosting the Cap Classique Celebration at this very great venue.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so thank you so much for facilitating that and for assisting us in all the preparations.
It's a pleasure to host you.
Yeah, but more importantly, before we begin with you, today is the 13th of December, therefore Kenya has just turned 60. We're in the holiday mood. It's a few days to Christmas, and the year has come to an end. How has the year been for you?
The year has been very good to us in terms of business-wise. We have had good business across the year. A good mix of business in terms of from different market segments.
Okay.
And so we are absolutely thrilled in terms of closing the year and expect to have a very good festive season here.
A very good festive season here.
Yeah.
And this year is the year you moved from another part of the country to this particular establishment.
Well, I was still within the country, but I moved from another establishment to here.
Yeah.
I was working in the south coast of Kenya.
Okay.
In Diani, the famous Diani Beach. A property called Swahili Beach Resort.
Yes.
And I made my move to come to Tamarind Mombasa.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Tamarind Mombasa's offering. Then we'll come back to what exactly has led you to the point you are here today.
Well, the destination Tamarind Mombasa comprises of 3 and let me say 4 business entities. One is where we are here, the Tamarind Village. Service apartments. It works more of hotel, but not your typical hotel. It has got beautiful apartments, kind of boutique-ish, quietness. The ambience is very cool, idyllic, and we have the Tamarind Authentic Seafood Restaurant. This is a classic seafood restaurant. It's defied all the ages. 51 years.
51 years.
Yeah.
That is really great.
Absolutely amazing. And then we have the Tamarind Dhow. This is probably one of my favorites because it is authentic. I mean, the experience of the Tamarind Dhow is just nostalgic, it's memorable, it's magical. That's the word you can just describe it for. And then to crown it all, we have a casino. Okay. The Golden Key Casino. So these 4 units comprise what we call the Tamarind Mombasa, which I manage as the general manager. Okay, no,
awesome. And congratulations on your position and is it 8 months in the job? It looks very small from the outside actually, and very unassuming, little gates on a not so sort of, it's not a back road necessarily, but it's not a main road either. So it's somewhere in between. But of course you walk in and the cliff and the majestic gardens or the different properties makes it a good destination. I'll tell you, my association with Tamarind, it's not 50 years old, but congratulations on that as well. 50 years in the business, 50 years of Cap Classique, which we'll come to in a bit. But 20 years ago, thereabouts, I got engaged on a Tamarind Dhow.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I didn't know that.
I was living in the diaspora, and I guess it was one of those once-in-a-lifetime moments. Yeah. And my then partner decided to choose that as, the place to celebrate the milestones. So there's always that association. And it's amazing that I didn't think about it as 20 years ago until today. But that's my history. I think it was the first time I came to Tamarind Mombasa. But here we are again. I'm a regular. I've been the Dawa Terrace. I've been to the restaurant. I've attended some wine pairing dinners here, Shane events. I have been lucky to also have stayed here, I think, twice before this particular time also. So it's always, a great place to come. To come back. And of course, one of the icons in the industry.
Sure.
Yeah, so well done for that. So the other thing I know, you're celebrating your 17th year in the industry.
Yes, I mean, I've been in the industry for close to 17 years now. Yeah. I basically split my career in half between Kenya and Tanzania.
Okay, wow. Tell us a bit about that.
Both Tanzania mainland and Tanzania Zanzibar. I pretty much began, after my university, began my career in Tanzania, where I worked for the Impala Group of Hotels.
Okay.
Back then, it had Naura Springs Hotel, Impala Hotel, and Gurdoto Mountain Lodge. I mean, they used to be the icon of Arusha.
Okay.
From that, I worked for Mount Meru Hotel. Mount Meru used to be part of the local hotel in Tanzania. They used to be owned by the government, but then they were later on sold to the private industry.
Okay.
I remember back then it was the American Sullivans that approached the then president of Tanzania to revive the hotel back, and I was glad to be part of the opening crew.
Okay, cool.
That was way back in 2010. And yeah, I mean, it is a hotel that I still love to date because of the achievement we had. Opening it up, we remember we set 6 months to be able to win the trophy as the best hotel in Tanzania.
Wow.
But we won it in only 3 months because of the passion and energy of the team we had then. I worked there for close to 2 years. Then I met one of the directors of Elewana Collections in Tanzania. And he approached me if I could work for them, and we agreed on a mutual benefit agreement, in the sense that they had a very beautiful property in Arusha called Arusha Coffee Lodge, which is in a coffee plantation. And being in a coffee plantation, the icon sales would be coffee. But they had very poor reputation of giving very bad coffee.
Oh dear, you are in a coffee farm and you're giving bad coffee. That's a big scene. Yes.
And during that time, I was at the epitome of my barista skills.
Okay.
I was managing a restaurant in Mount Meru Hotel, but I was a senior barista.
Okay.
So they admired my barista skills, and they confirmed to me that if I make the move to join Elewana, then they would use the opportunity to develop me further in my career. Okay. As I also utilize the opportunity to give them the better experience of the journey of coffee from the bean to the cup. Okay. Yeah. So with Elewana, it's high-end luxury boutique hotels, safari oriented. So I worked with them in Tanzania mainland and also Tanzania Zanzibar, that's an island. But then they grew in Kenya, and I was among the first managers to be transferred back to Kenya, so that just to continue the brand. Okay. And you know, I lived my life pretty well in Elewana. Did a lot of wine tasting in Elewana.
Nice.
Wines of South Africa, and the time came for me to make another move, and always affiliated to growth in career. I got an opportunity to go back to Zanzibar, a property called Kisiwa on the beach, very beautiful property in the southeast of Zanzibar. From there, I came back to Kenya and worked for Swahili Beach Resort. Okay. After which here I am in Tamarind.
Tamarind, yeah. All this time, Tamarind didn't try and get you before. I wonder if it has taken you this long to come. I hear people go and come back, right? I don't know whether that's something you'd like to share.
Well, my history with Tamarind is kind of very beautiful because I'm here working for Tamarind, living my dream. Okay. The conversation of joining Tamarind began way back 7 years ago when I met the chairman of Tamarind, Mr. Danforth, whom I really emulate so much. Great. That's way back when I was working in Elewana, and I admired his success in the industry, and he kind of liked me. I don't know why, but we had a casual conversation that one day you need to work for Tamarind. Sure. So on my way to Zanzibar, when I was going to work for Kisiwa, I met him on the airport, and we bumped into each other and had a conversation, and ignited the old conversation, like one day you need to work for Tamarind. Great. So one fine morning, I received a call from him and say, I think, man, that is the time now for you to come and work for Tamarind. And of course, you know, when your dream comes true, all you need to do is just to live your dream.
To live your dream. Congratulations on that. So there's been a lot of crossovers across the border. you seem to have a thing for the islands and the coast as well. First and foremost, did you climb Mount Meru? It's on my bucket list. Have you climbed it?
Unfortunately, I did not climb any of the mountain. I didn't climb Mount Meru. I didn't climb Mount Kilimanjaro. But you always have this situation where something is so close to you and you take it for granted. Until you get far of it.
Okay.
But it's still on my bucket list to do Mount
Kilimanjaro.
Yeah.
Okay. So I mean, of course, for us Nairobians, Arusha is the natural destination. And I've been in Moshi actually for the marathon, the Kilimanjaro marathon. But I'm also beginning to discover Arusha. So you've mentioned the coffee lodge. I'll make a point to visit that as well.
Sure.
But that's a nice story, barrister to general manager. Now, you moved from Swahili Beach. There's no bridge, there's a ferry. Is life very different across the ferry?
I mean, in terms of the two places, Mombasa and Diani, they are a bit different in many ways. Mombasa is a city, it's the second city we have in the country. So it's more vibrant,
okay.
Diani is still more cool, more touristic, while Mombasa, there's still a lot of business class. So life would be a little bit vibrant here,
okay.
and much cooler in Diani.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're not missing it?
In terms of missing it, I don't know what to say there, because my kids have got a lot of liking to Diani, especially the Diani beach. So when we get time, especially on Sunday, we wake up at 5 in the morning and we cross the ferry to go and catch the sunrise, the magic sunrise. And then the play, we take photos. I mean, we still have a connection back in Diani.
Oh, love it.
That my kids, they connect to their growth, because every single day, every morning, especially when before they began school, we used to take them to the beach.
Wow.
So they kind of know it and they like it.
They like it. I like it too. And I like that airport a lot more than the Mombasa airport as well. Tomorrow, after a successful event here at your hotel, we'll be crossing over the ferry. I don't think it'll be at 5 a.m. though. I don't think it'll be at 5 a.m. But the team from WOSA also want to experience that, and we're taking them across the ferry.
I think you should do.
Yeah. Now, coming to WOSA and Wines of South Africa especially, it's interesting that you were part of Elewana, because I know they really focus a lot on wine training. And in fact, the wine trainer here running the session is from Beverage Intelligence Under the Influence, which of course supply Elewana. So take us through your wine experience there. You moved from the barista thing. Did you get hooked on the wine thing as well?
It's actually quite interesting. And in fact, there is a beautiful relationship between coffee and wine. When I worked for Elewana, and in just my whole barista career, I used to participate in coffee cupping for the company. Okay. So we would go to the coffee farm and select the beans that would form the signature blend of our own
Oh my
coffee.
goodness. So like made for Elewana.
Exactly. So we do the tasting. So it consists of the grades, the AA, AB, AAA, and the P berry, all mixed and blended in a way that cannot be copied by another person. So that when you come to our place, you say, I drank coffee that I've never drank
before.
It's the secret of blending. So the art of coffee cupping was actually borrowed from wine blending.
Wow.
So the interest of a barista to wine, it's just natural.
It's just natural, yes.
So especially when I worked for Elewana, we had lots and lots of training on wines, and that's where my interest grew up. I remember working with one of my managers called Alan Bales. Very happy to mention him in this interview. He knew his wine. Okay. And I really took a lot of time to learn from him. He's from South Africa. Okay. And we did a lot of training in Elewana, and it was by design, because the kind of clients we were hosting understood the art of food and wine.
And wine pairing.
And so it was important for us to have our waiters and our barmen to understand wine, so that they can position themselves better to serve the guests. Yeah.
And I mean, Elewana is the kind of place where people pay top dollar for a night.
Definitely.
It's not the usual all-inclusive packages. There's quite a customized experience there.
Yes.
Which is something that is growing in the industry. Would you say? What do you see as the trends coming up? Perhaps that establishment like yourselves have to, redesign. When I mentioned coming to the Dhow 20 years ago, it was quite an exclusive experience. I remember they used to ferry guests, in essence, to the restaurant to experience that. I know now it's more accessible, which is also a really good thing. You can, in essence, reserve, book, and be able to get on it really fast. But what are some of those changes going on there? Do you feel your tastes are changing, your business is changing?
I mean, certainly nothing is stagnant. A lot has been changing. And in terms of our industry, in terms of tourism, particularly our location where we are here within Kenya, and especially the coast of Kenya, there have been a lot of dynamics within the demographic of the tourism. In the past, the tourism was so much defined on international arrivals, and the bed nights were more international. A lot of contracts were drawn with international travelers. However, nowadays, the middle class is growing, and we see many Kenyans or many domestic travelers affording to travel. The disposable income, I think, has increased in the middle class, and they're affording to travel. And so we owe it to the industry to give them the experiences, to orient them into the experiences. Wine was more of a Western thing, and not so much of an African thing.
Yeah.
I would definitely give a lot of credit to Wines of South Africa for playing a vital role in this particular context we're talking about. Because apart from the European wines, which are named by appellation, the wines of South Africa are named by grape varietal, which makes it easy to train and to educate, to orient the drinker's palate. The early, in the beginning, someone would tend to drink sweet wine, but then the palate gradually graduates into a more sophisticated dry wine drinking. So what we do, especially the beverage intelligence, just group the wines into 4 different taste flavors. You have light and crisp, you have rich and round for the white wines, you have a medium-bodied and elegant, and then you have a full-bodied and powerful. So within this rotation, when you're doing the testing and introducing the guests into the wines, they naturally now try to find what they like most. And as I said, credit to Wines of South Africa, because naming by grape varietal has made it quite easy to understand the wines.
Yeah. Oh, you're making Alistair proud. I hope he gets to watch this because I realized that even when in my own journey, that matrix they provided, sort of that description you have outlined there, that framework was very, very useful in trying to describe wines to people.
Yes.
Sometimes we try and be so technical when it's really very simple descriptions like those that help people understand and give them confidence to want to say more, as opposed to now when people are really getting into the technical information. But you've scored on that part of that from his playbook. But also, I do agree and credit Wines of South Africa in the role they've played in really just educating people and providing experiences where people can come and taste and experience different wines.
Definitely.
So in fact, I gave myself a challenge knowing about this interview. And I was lucky because we have over 50 brands available for this evening. I was thinking, now that I've met Joab and I know what's going on sort of in this week and the past month, what can I recommend? Like, if you are a wine, what would I give you? If I was challenged by someone to give you a gift. So I chose these 2 very specifically because I know you're graduating from your Master's in Business Administration on Friday. Congratulations on that.
Thank you.
University of Nairobi, and I'm also an alumni.
Yeah.
And then you've won some awards. I don't know whether I think one is maybe a few years back, Best General Manager. Was it of Elewana in the region or in the world? I'm not sure.
I'm shy that you're mentioning that, but yeah, I mean, in my hotel career, especially as a general manager, I've been able to win 2 awards.
Okay.
One is a company one when I worked for Elewana in 2019. I received the award of the General Manager of the Year. It's among 16 properties within East Africa.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. The other award I won was the International GM's Award, issued by International Travel Awards. That is when I was working for Swahili Beach last year.
Okay, great.
That was a countrywide, which I was voted in as the best GM of the year.
Super. Accolades upon accolades. The challenge I set for myself was to select wine for you. Yeah, to celebrate the milestones that you've been experiencing, that you've mentioned with us.
Thank you.
So one is Mara Celebration. Mara Celebration is a wine brand owned by the Kenyan wine company Mia Wines, headed by Kalika. They've actually been producing this wine for over 10 years. And this Mara Celebration was done when Kenya was at 50, which is 10 years ago, 2013. Around the time I was actually starting my own business. So you're my senior in hospitality. You've been there for 17, I've been in hospitality for 10. And I also like the format, it's in this big magnum bottle. So the complexity, the experience. Yeah, that is a wise wine like yourself. The second one is Graham Beck, also of course Cap Classique from South Africa. In fact, I think during Obama's inauguration, I'm not sure whether it was his first election or second election, he served Graham Beck during his the dinner. And I mean, you're not being inaugurated per se, but then, your graduation as well. But then within their portfolio, Graham Beck is of course very popular in Kenya. I think it's one of the Cap Classiques that has been in the market for very long. Within South Africa now, Graham Beck specializes only in producing Cap Classique. But this is their Cuvée Clive. So among their portfolio, this is sort of their top. Tamarind Mombasa was the original, and the Tamarind Group, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, so maybe we assume or perceive it to be the top one still. And, so I figured then I could play along with those to match. So that's my selection for you, based on the theme of Cap Classique. The theme, of course, of our location, Tamarind Mombasa celebration. Cap Classique is about being celebrated. When you climb Mount Meru eventually,
I'll pop that one.
You shall have the same, but you shall have to share it with me. Or if I go there first, we'll see. I'll keep you updated.
You keep me updated.
In case I get to the top before you. But thank you so much for your time. But then maybe parting short, if you were not working in East Africa, if you are, I'm sure they've tried to poach you somewhere else around the world. If you were not working in in East Africa, where would you be working?
Wanjiru, in my career, I've been lucky to be approached by many companies to work for them. Not only in Kenya, but also within East Africa, in Tanzania, Zanzibar, Uganda, in other countries out of Africa. But when you're living your dream, as I said to you, I am living my dream. Working for Tamarind is living my dream. I'm certainly working for Tamarind now. Okay. And my dream place is to still work for Tamarind.
Still work for Tamarind.
Yes.
Okay, you got it. He's securing the bag and keeping it under lock and key, and nothing will shake him, right? Yeah. Typical day in the life of a general manager. Other than fighting crows.
That's the beauty of the nature here. I mean, with the kind of setup we have, having pockets of business to run, I definitely have a system of work where I lead a team of managers that we communicate on how we begin the day. I usually wake up quite early, around 5, to still catch up with my family and my kids, have breakfast with them, and then come to work. Then I would meet the clients at the Harbour restaurant having breakfast.
Oh, nice.
I would take time to do some of the administration work, and then take a break, in the afternoon around 3 or 4 for about 2 hours, and then come back in the evening for the dinner service.
Okay.
Yes.
No time at the casino.
I would
throwing
pop in.
Some.
The main thing for us here, for me at the casino, is to oversee the food and beverage side.
Okay.
Yes, I would pop in just to see how it's going on, and of course, if the Dhow is sailing, just to be there and greet the guests before they move down to the Dhow.
The Dhow, yes, great. No, awesome. Clearly, you're playing your cards right, and you don't need the casino to do that for you. Thank you, Joab, so much for your time. We wish you the best in all your endeavors, and we'll definitely be back for the next 50 and the next 50 here at Tamarind Mombasa to continue enjoying your destination.